source of the problem, right? So what are other financial goals we have? Anyone? Like kusomesha mtu, right? Most of us have learned through Saccos. Other financial goals? Anyone? Starting a business. And all that you do, if you've said, this is my financial goal, I want to start my business at the end of 2025, I'm going to save it for it in Egerton University, Sacco. With good financial education, then we are able to meet all these. Then finally, when I started talking, you heard me talk about family, right? We're going to see shortly, but one of the key lessons or what we teach is that financial decision making should not be a personal what? Affair. It should be a family. Sasa wanaume wamekataa, wamenyamaza. Financial decision making should be a family affair. Men in the house, do you agree with me? They're doubting. Nikiendaga kutrain rural, the room even gets quiet when I ask that question, because the cultures are still strong down there, right? Decisions kwa nyumba ni za nani? Za mzee. But we are moving away from that. We should be able to teach our children issues to do with money right from their formative ages. Is that true? Right from their formative ages. The Bible says, samaki mgali, mkunja ngali what? Bichi. When you start teaching them about money when they're young, then it becomes so easy for you as they grow up. But if you wait until they're teenagers, they want this, they want that, and you didn't teach them about financial discipline, then it becomes challenging. So we talked about needs, and we said needs are those things that you need for you at least to be a human being, to breathe, to live, right? But there are also wants, they just enhance your life. Like a phone, like what else? Other ones? Like a car. Like what else? Sorry? Wants? Other ones? We are going to come there shortly. So we are going to come into that conversation that they're having shortly, but basically it sometimes depends, but we're going to come into that shortly. But why are we talking about wants and needs in our session today? We are talking about wants and needs because this is where we need to make a lot of our financial decisions. You need to be able to know as a person, as a family, what is it that is a need in my life? What do I need? So that I don't just wake up and I see a nice watch and I think, I need this watch. Do you sit back or do you step back and say, do I really need this watch, right? So differentiating between needs and wants will help you to prioritize your expenditures, will help you prioritize where you're spending your money. You wake up in the morning, mtoto anakuambia alifukuzwa shule, juu hana kalamu, si ndio? Right? Then same morning, mtoto amekataa kwenda shule, juu hajakunywa chai, umepika duvia. For those of us who know duvia. And you have 50 bob. Do you buy a pen or do you buy sugar? Do you buy a pen or do you buy sugar? Most of us are saying pens. But nimejua tukirudi nyumbani lazima tufurahishe kababa, si ndio? Tumwambie enda uombe nani kalamu leo, acha ninunue sukari na hii 50 bob yenye iko. Is that true? Actually, that's what we used to be told when we were growing up. Go, you have so many classmates. Ask them for what? for pens or pencils. Let me buy sugar so that you can get your sweet tea. But in the larger aspect of it, what we're saying is that we should be able to identify what are needs in our lives, what are wants in our life, then we apportion our money appropriately. Still on the elements of wants and needs, we should be able to ask ourselves, what are the present needs and what are my future needs, right? And come to the other side of the pendulum and ask myself, yes, these are wants. What are my present wants and what are my future wants? You understand? There's something, it could be a need. Are we together? You could have an item A, it's a need. And an item B, it's a want. Is that okay? And this want, it may be a present want. And this need, it can be a need that you can defer into the future. Is that true? Is that true? So that you're able to say, yes, this is a need, but it's something I can do in the future. But this particular want, if I get it, I'll be able to do what? To achieve something. And let me use the example they were giving. They were saying a phone, right? And they were, I think, debating between themselves whether a phone is a want or a need. Generally, do you think a phone is a want or a need? It's a want. It's not a need, all right? What if I'm a business person who relies on that phone to get orders and to make supplies? It becomes a need, right? So I'm a business person. I was walking in the marketplace, and my shoe got torn, and in the process of me bending to check my shoe, my phone is stolen. What do I buy first? We said shoe is a need, Cindy. Clothing are needs. A phone is a want. I'm a business person. I'm in this scenario. What do I buy first? The phone, right? So in as much as I, as Alfred, may categorize the phone as a want and the shoe as a need, then I have a situation where I have a need and a want. The choices are very clear, right? Needs are more important than wants. But now I have to make a decision. Can I defer buying a shoe so that I walk into the next shop, buy a phone so that I don't miss calls from my suppliers and my customers? Is that true? So those are the basic decisions we are talking about. As you go about earning your money, as you go about spending your money, ask yourself, which of these items is a want and which of these items is a need? Then go a step further, ask yourself, which of these is an immediate want? Which of these is a future want? Which of these is an immediate need? And which of these can be a deferred need? When you step back and answer those questions, then you'll be in a position to appropriately do what? Spend your money wisely without getting constrained. So I have some items here I want to show us. And you're going to tell me whether it's a want or a need. Is that okay? So the first one is there. Is that a want or a need? Is it a want or a need? My people from where I come from the lakeside. Where are the people from the lakeside? So I think the almost general consensus is that it's a want, right? Then we have the next one. Is it a want or a need? It's what the Gen Zs will call nganya. Where I live, down there, I live in Rongai. And in Rongai, there's a lot of these flashy matatus. And there are people, I can swear, There are people who they would rather wait hapo kwa stage for 30 minutes. Akingojea nini? Nganya. Right? Does it happen around here? You don't have these flashy matatus. So for you, it's a want, right? But down there where I live, you'll get, forget about the young people, you'll get even the old people. And you know, surprisingly, they charge more than zile zenye wazee wanapenda zile zenye ziko zimenyamaza. Yes, they normally charge more by 50 or 100 depending on the time of day. But there are people who will stay at the bus stage and wait for this. But we can also decide to look at this from a general perspective of a public transportation, right? If we look at it from that perspective, then we are able to draw differentiation between this and this. And to most of us then, public transportation would almost become a what? A need. Is that okay? Because you need to move faster, you need to be efficient in what you do. The next item is that one. Is it a want or a need? Yes. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I told you where I come from. Anyway, that's on a light note. Go on. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Is this a Toyota Corolla? Eh? Is this a Toyota Corolla? These are high-end. They normally call them limited edition, right? In fact, ni watu wawili wanakalia. So hiyo familia 5 hawatatoshea hapa. Wengine utawaambia waende kwa matatu. Anyway, those high-end cars, right? And we shall see shortly. Maybe to some people, like he's correctly putting, it may be a want or a need. This is a hospital setup. I know because of the lighting from here, it may not be very clear. Is it a want or a need? Is it a want or a need? It's a want. Hey, let's hear this bold want. Tell us something. Uh-huh. 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 Very the keyword there is luxurious. Uh-huh. Somebody else having an idea? Is it a want or a need? So all of us except my brother there is saying my brother is saying it's a want because he considers it looking luxurious. If you've gone to Nairobi Hospital, this is the sort of setup. It looks luxurious, but to me, instead of having the word luxury in mind, I would look at it from quality what? Medicare. Do you want to change your mind now? You don't. So, okay, we are not saying you're wrong. We appreciate your perspective. But when you're talking about Medicare, we should talk about quality Medicare, right? Si hizi hospitali za kanjo tunaenda unapata. Okay. You're getting a supporter. She's taking me back to my marketing class. The 4 or 7 P's of marketing. We talk about the professionals, product, price, place, promotion. That is if you're talking about the 4. If you extend to the 7th, you're talking about the place and people and processes. So, if we look at that in totality, you're talking about the people to mean quality. Is that true? So we take you where they are the best doctors, but unalala kwa sakafu. Is that quality to you? We're just discussing. We're not saying you are wrong. Sorry? But does the environment matter to you?
Sometimes it doesn't, because what can I afford? We are here to look at our financial literacy. So anytime we're spending money, we look at what value of money for me. So if I'm getting a good doctor in Kenyatta, I would say this is a want.
Yes. Thank you. If we put affordability on the sides kidogo, and we say we are operating in a utopian world, would you like this kind of a service? Okay, give.
Is utopia realistic? We are going.
Sorry?
We are going to a world that is not realistic. Is utopia realistic? Yes.
Okay. Yes.
I think this is what an ideal situation should look like in a hospital.
Exactly.
But because of poverty, we are used to very poor hospitals which have very poor beds, where people sleep on the beds, and if there is a...
Yeah. Thank you. So ideally, this is how it should be. Yes. We're not saying you're wrong. We appreciate ideas, but ideally, ukikatwa pesa ya shisha, uende Kenyatta Hospital, haifai kukua tofauti na nini? Nairobi Hospital, si ndio? So quality healthcare, right? It's a need for all of us. Hiyo inakaa nini? Is it a want or a need? Is it a want or a need? It's a need. It's a balanced diet. So the consensus that it's a need. That one? But it's food. It's luxurious food. All right. So the general consensus that it's more of a want. That one? iPhone. Sahi iPhone gani kwa market? iPhone 16 Pro Max. iPhone na Samsung ni tofauti. Tunaongelelea iPhone kwanza. It's more of a want, right? The basics of a phone is what? Communication. Call, text. Yes, Pastor. You need an iPhone. So if you put a Bible app in an iPhone, itasema Yesu ali... Is it still the same scriptures? Haitatuambia majina ya ndugu na dada za Yesu, si ndio? Because it's an iPhone. Anyway, this one. This is where I normally get the greatest debate. Is it a want or a need? Hapa naombanga watu wabebe mkono juu. Is it a want or a need? Those who are saying it's a need. Those who are saying it's a want. Hey, pastor mkono yake iko huku. So is it a want or a need? So this is where my conclusion of want and needs, the answer of it depends comes, right? This one normally brings clearly that element of what? It depends. This could be a want or a need. It depends. This could be a want or a need. It depends. So when you talk about tissue paper, with all due respect to our Muslim brothers and sisters who are in the house, to them, it's a want, right? If I go back to my ushago huko, it's a want, right? They don't care. Ataenda achukue matawi and life goes on. But tell that to a Nairobi-born kid or a Njoro-born kid, atashindwa ni nini unaongelea, si ndio? Atasema, that Alfred is a dirty person. You know? He uses leaves or he uses stones. Yeah? So, yes. Yes. Or you use a poisonous plant. But to them, ukimwambia nunua tissue ama nunua hii, atakwambia ununue kitu ingine, si ndio? They can sort their way out. So sometimes you find that different things in different life could be a want or a need depending on an individual person or who you ask. Like for example, we're in a university setup. A laptop is almost a need to the lecturer and the students. Is that true? But the same laptop, if you ask somebody else, their life is perfectly okay without a laptop. Even a phone. You go to some people and wewe story yako na simu, shauri yako. Ye maisha yake iko tu sawa. But me, if I step out of the house and I feel, my phone is not in my pocket, what do? I go back. In fact, ukifika kazini ndio realize simu hakuna hujabeba, you will be so unsettled, si ndio? Utajiambia sasa watu wamenitafuta nini. When unajiambia tu ukirudi nyumbani, I'll have so many missed calls. And you get home and you get 0 missed calls, right? Does it happen? Umejisaik, leo naenda kupanda missed calls mingi sana. Then you get home and there is nothing. We have different choices of airtime. You all have your choice where you're getting your time. And that one, a want or a need? Masomo? It's a need in the current world we are living in, right? So, and not just masomo, but quality education. That's a want. Just because by their beach. Sorry? Yes. And I know some of us may say it's a want because maybe they're by the ocean and enjoying the cool breeze. But if you reduce it to the basic level, like my good friend here is saying, we also need to do what? To relax. Take a time off from your busy life and relax. And if we reduce this to a basic level, hata kubeba familia yako, is there a park here? Is there a public park? There is, right? Is there one? Botanic garden. Pika ile githeri tuliona hapa, beba familia, uwapeleke hapo kwa park, mkule mkifanya nini? Mkipiga story. That is your sort of holiday that you can do what? You can manage. Right? So don't deny yourself so much so that if you hear somebody is going to Botanic Garden, wanasema, ile baba nani naye ako na pesa, right? But that is not the idea. The idea is for you to unwind and relax with your family. So I think we've talked so much about needs and wants. I will just skip this slide. But the basic that we are drawing from that is let's differentiate and ask ourselves which is a current, which is a future want and future need, and so on and so forth, so that we're able to put our money in the right place. Then I want to talk about personal values. What do you value as a person? Different people value different things, and you'll find that whatever you value in your life as a person also influences how you spend your money. Is that true? Is that true? Yes. What you value as a person in your life influences how you spend your money. What do you value, Madam Cameraman, Camera Lady? What do you value? I caught you off guard. Uko kazini, si ndio? What do you value, my sister? Sorry? Good health. So she would go a way out to probably purchase an insurance to ensure that her and her family are having good health. What do you value? Yes. What do you value? She's so maybe not here. Sorry? Peace. They value peace so much. They would go that extra extent to ensure that they are peaceful. If the kid is throwing tantrums anataka kukula ile KFC tumeona, atanunua hiyo KFC apate nini? Amani. So all those, the things that you value, be it education, be it fun, be it friendship, all those things that we have on the list and more. Whatever you value in your life also has a bearing on your financial well-being. So that if you value education, like our parents used to do, they would probably take you to the best school, na yeye ajinyime, si ndio? Yeah. So, but we also have to be very conscious of this. So, like just I've said, your personal values will affect your financial goals. So, the goals you choose for yourselves, the goals you choose for your family will depend how you spend your money. And when you're making those goals, when you're making those financial goals, I believe this almost goes without saying, the aspect of smart, right? Your goals, your financial goals should be what? Smart. And when you're talking about smart, you're talking about being specific. Don't be amorphous. Don't say, I want to be rich in future. Define richness according to you, right? So be specific. What financial goal do you want to achieve? I want to buy land. I want to build a house. Then, measurable. How much land do you want to buy? Because the entire world is land, isn't it? I want to buy 10 acres, 2 acres, and so on and so forth. Within your current earnings or income, are you able to achieve what you're aspiring to get, your financial goal? Is it achievable, given your financial means? So don't say you want to buy something worth 10 million, yet you're not able to raise that 10 million even in your entire lifetime, right? So ensure that it's achievable and realistic at the same time. Then tell us, by what time do you want to achieve your financial goal? I want to buy 1 acre of land in Njoro in the next 2 years, so help me God, right? So what you're saying is that you should be able to set smart goals. Don't just set goals. Don't just say, I want to buy land because uliona Samson alichukua loan kwa Egerton Sacco akanunua nini? Shamba. Haujui Samson amesave for how long before he was able to take a loan to do what? To buy the piece of land, right? So set your goals, and set your goals as a family. And that brings us now to the topic of sources of income. Any question or anyone with an input? Anyone with an input? So in your books there, I'm being alerted, my time is almost up. In your books there, is it on page 6 or 7? There's something like this. So quietly, if your neighbor is not seeing what you're writing, fill these spikes with your sources of income. I know all of us, the first one we are going to say is what? Good. You're good students. Now, write salary and fill the rest. 1 minute. Usionyeshe jirani yako, pengine akutakiangi mazuri. So wewe just keep it to yourself. So fill as many as you can. And be true to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Thank you. How many of us have filled all the 8? How many of us have 8 different sources of income? None. How many of us have 7? None. How many of us have 6 sources of income? 6 different sources of income. None. 5. I saw Professor counting 5. I can see a number of people with 5 sources of income. 4 sources of income. The hands are increasing. 3 sources of income. The hands are increasing. 2 sources of income. The rest are in 1. 1 sources of income. 1 source of income. If you just wrote salary, because writing the word salary takes just 1 second, and for the remaining 59 seconds your pen was down and you were staring at me, you're living dangerously. Remember we talked about the cost of living when we were doing introduction, right? The cost of living is going up. What are you doing to grow your sources of income? Don't just depend on salary, right? Look for other sources of income. If you can do a business, get into business. And business can be anything from raising hens like my pastor here, from selling mboga, anything that you can do to earn you extra what? Because if you're living on 1 source of income, then in the next few years you may not be able to manage. Why? Because the cost of income, the cost of living keeps doing what? Rising, right? So do something and grow your sources of income. And there are different income streams. It could come from rentals, dividend that you earn from your Sacco, capital gains, pengine you hold some shares in a company, interest you've saved